Okay. Good evening and welcome to the Fredonia Central School District Board of Education meeting for Tuesday, November 23rd, 2021. If everyone would please rise with me and pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. Thank you all. We have a proposed consent agenda, and the adoption of the consent agenda upon a motion and a second and an affirmative vote by members present approves each and every item so designated. However, prior to the adoption of the consent agenda, any board member may remove any item from the consent agenda. This item will then come up for discussion as part of the regular agenda. The purpose of the consent agenda is to expedite routine matters so that the board has more time to deal with substance matters. So, if I could just get a motion to bring this to the floor, and then if someone has something they'd like to pull out, we can go from there. Mrs. Powell-Fortner, and a second. Second. Mr. Marshall. Didn't want to make the same mistake as I made last time. Okay, so we have the proposed agenda. Is there anyone who would like to pull anything out of the consent portion for further discussion? We're all good? Okay. All those in favor of approving the agenda signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Wonderful. Okay, so the board has reserved this time to hear comments from the audience. Those wishing to address the board are asked to stand, give their name and address, and limit their comments to 5 minutes or less per individual or group. Concerns and comments during this session should be directly related to items listed on the proposed agenda for this meeting. Audience members seeking a response should complete a board correspondence sheet and return it to our district clerk, Christine Slagle, who is up front here. Audience members are asked to adhere to social distancing regulations when addressing the board. Is there anyone who would like to address the board tonight? I see we have some people in back. We do have seats farther forward if anybody is, can you hear okay back there? You know, okay, you sure? All right. Well, I shouldn't complain because that's where I sit in church. So, okay. So we don't have anybody wanting to address the board. We have minutes from the last two meetings, from October 26th and November 9th. Could I have a motion to bring that to the floor, please? And a second. Second. Ms. Powell-Fortner. Okay, any corrections, edits, anything? Okay, all those in favor of approving that signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Next, we have the financial treasurer's report. So I think that what we're going to do is just get right into that. Louina.
Okay. Hello, everyone. You should all have a copy of the audit.
So for those who don't know, this is Louina Baggett from Laredo and Baggett, Laredo Baggett. Yep. I can even tell with the mask, and it's not easy, but she does our external audit report for us.
Yes, and I know that Laura has already met with the audit committee and gone over the report in great detail. So I'm just going to give you a summary, and if there's any additional information you'd like, please feel free to ask. And if there's something that you find later on after you've read all 70-some pages of it, please I'd be happy to answer any calls that you have regarding the financial report, and Laura as well. So I'm going to just start off with the financial opinion. The opinion that you received was called an unmodified opinion, which is the best opinion that you can get. It means that the financial statements are in compliance with generally accepted accounting principles in all material respects. So that's great news. I will call your attention to one paragraph on the audit report that is different than what you normally have, and that is the implementation of a new GASB 84, which brought the trust and agency numbers into the general fund this year. So really had no financial impact as far as bottom line numbers, but it is disclosed in the opinion, so that way you know there is a change from last year to this year in the financial statements. So pages 5 through 18 are your management discussion and analysis. That's prepared by your business manager, John. And it gives you some financial highlights of the district, kind of summarizes what we have in the audit report, and gives you some numbers that might be of interest to you as the board. Okay? So I'm going to start with page 20 and 21 of the financial statements. And page 20 and 21 of the financial statements are prepared on what we call the full accrual basis of accounting. And the full accrual basis of accounting is not what you do internally. Okay? Internally, you function on what's called the modified accrual basis of accounting. So when you're looking at page 20 and 21, you might be thinking, wow, these numbers are a lot different than what I normally see in my board meetings. Okay? And the reason being is because we actually do a few sets of financial statements. We do the full accrual, which is the first 2 pages of the financial statements, and then we do the modified accrual presentation, which more mimics what you're used to seeing in your regular board meetings. So just to give you a few highlights on that, the first financial statement, page 20, the full accrual basis of accounting brings in your fixed assets. It also brings in any assets that you might have that you have really no control over. Like you have some pension assets that are really out of your control. You can't touch them, okay? It also brings in liabilities that you have in the district that are also out of your control. So things like the pension liabilities related to the employee's retirement system and the teacher's retirement system. You don't really have any control over those liabilities. You are members, your district is a member of the retirement system, and you're given what your required contribution is from the system. So you don't really have any access to those assets that are in this financial statement or the ability to pay off those liabilities at this point in time, okay? So why do they even do this kind of financial statement? Well, it's to give you the full accrual picture if we were on a full accrual basis of accounting. And the bonding companies kind of like to look at that and see how you are. Well, I'd say you're pretty healthy. If you look towards the bottom of the financial statement, you have total net position of $24 million, okay? Sounds great. It's great to be in the positive. Can you really use that? Not really, because it's really not your money. There's assets in there that are not yours, that are not under your control. And you also have about $31 million in capital assets, which truthfully are not saleable, okay? Unless somebody wants to buy a school for some real reason, you can't really liquidate and use that $31 million, okay? So keep that in mind when you're looking at these financial statements. Really, the more of interest to you guys is what's on the modified accrual basis of accounting, which is what you're used to seeing in your monthly financials, okay? So I'm going to go to page 22. That starts the modified accrual basis of accounting. And I'll call your attention towards the bottom of the general fund column. So on the bottom of the general fund column, you have a nice, healthy financial position in your fund balance, $6.5 million, okay? Of that $6.5 million, you have restricted $1.2 million. And you have assigned to help with the tax levy next year, $1.2 million. And you have unassigned of $4 million. The goal is to put some more into the reserves, put some more into the restricted, and buckle down and get ready for what kind of ride we're going to have over the next several years with the inflation, okay? I strongly encourage you to retain this fund balance, plan for the future, retain it in reserves. Yes, you'll be cited by the state to say that you're over your 4%, but thank God you are, okay? Because we're going to hit some inflationary times, and you're going to need the money, okay? So it's great to see, great that you're in that kind of financial position. All right, under the school lunch column, also nice healthy fund balance, good position to be in. You're at $675,000 in fund balance. Also good position, so that way you can make necessary capital improvements to the lunch fund area, okay? You have the resources to be able to do that. So also again, a good financial position to be in. Turning the page now to page 25. If we were a business, we'd call this an income statement, but since we're not, we call it a statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance. So you finish the year with an excess of expenditures over revenue of $37,771. I'm in that general fund column. And just a couple highlights. Your revenue went up 1% over last year, and your expenditures went up 2% over the prior year. So not huge changes from one year to the next. And again, we only brought down the fund balance a little bit by $37,000. Lunch fund also ended the year in a positive. Again, so plan for the future, plan for what you're going to do with that fund balance, improve your lunch fund areas with new equipment if needed, plan for how you can improve the whole system for your students, okay? You also had what's called a single audit. We performed a single audit. The findings and the results of that audit are in the back. Nothing really unusual to note there. It was an audit that we did come up with some recommendations. We've already gone over those with the audit committee as well as the business manager. So does anybody have any questions for me? I know I'm talking kind of fast. I've given you a quick overview. There's a lot there. And I know you've already gone over it in great detail with Laura in the audit committee meeting, but I'd be happy to answer anything if there's any concerns.
Any questions?
Great. Thank you. All set? Hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your week.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm going to do this one. Thanks.
So if I could get a motion to approve the 2021 external audit report. Mr. Hawk, a second. Ms. Gullo, thank you. Since there are no questions, concerns on that, all those in favor of approving that signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you. So next we have the 21-22 school tax collection report, and we had this on the last meeting's agenda, and at the time we thought we'd have the numbers, but we didn't. So at the last meeting we tabled this, and if I could just get a motion to bring this off of the table. Ms. Gullo, and a second?
Second.
Ms. Hahn. Okay, all those in favor of bringing this off the table for discussion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. So we've got the numbers as reported here. Mr. Forbes?
Yeah, everything finished up real smooth. As you might expect, the day after the board meeting, we figured out what the dilemma was with the numbers, so that came out pretty good. We received 95.03% of the amount of the levy collected locally. That compares to 95.2% from the prior year. We saw this to be a pattern for many, many years. It's right around that 94-95% mark, so we thank the community for the support. All the information has been forwarded into the county system, and this will be the last piece they need to solidify the levy.
Okay. Are there any questions on any of that or any of the numbers?
The only question I have is when do they normally pay to start?
January.
Okay.
STAR is January, and then the remaining unpaid tax amount, we receive back in full plus penalties from the county, and that's typically very late March or very early April. And then they get in the business of the collection of the late taxes or the foreclosure process down the line. So.
Okay. 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 So, I guess we have to bring that to the table, don't we? And then we do a roll call vote.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. So if we could, prior to your comments, I guess we need to bring that to the table, and then you can say it all over again if you'd like. But can I have that brought to the table, please?
So
Mr. Hawk and Ms. Hahn. And since we've had discussion, no questions, comments on that, if we could do a roll call vote.
Sure. Mr. Aldridge?
Yes.
Ms. Fortna?
Yes.
Ms. Bella?
Yes.
Ms. Hahn?
Yes.
Mr. Hawk?
Yes.
Mr. Johnston?
Yes.
And Mr. Marshall?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and I'm going to pass around, there's 5 pages, you have to sign each page by your name, if you could, please.
Okay, so next we have the approval of a memorandum of agreement between Fredonia Central School District and the Fredonia Salaried Support Staff. Could I have a motion to bring that to the floor, please?
So moved.
Ms. Powell-Fortna, and a second.
Second?
Mr. Marshall.
Yep, and just a reminder here, as you remember our last meeting, we approved this position as a need in the district, and something we believe is going to be extremely helpful to our students and families. Currently, in the SSA contract, this title does not exist. So the need for this MOA is just so this is officially added to the contract, and thus we can move forward with the hiring process, since it would be officially in place as part of our agreement between that association and the district.
Okay, so we are just really approving that it go into the SSA.
Correct. Yep.
SSSA.
And it would officially appear in their contract as one of the titles.
Yes. Okay. Any questions on that from anyone?
Just a quick one, where it says the monetary adjustment schedule as follows, the 2232. That is an hourly. What is that number?
Yeah, that's an hourly
That is
rate.
an hourly. Okay, thank you.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Anything else? We're good. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Next, we have the approval and agreement between Fredonia Central School District and the County of Chautauqua for COVID-19 screening testing. Can I have a motion to bring that to the floor, please? Mr. Johnston, and a second. Ms. Billow. If we just get just a backup on this.
Sure.
Mr. Ziliaks.
Yep, as you recall, in early October, as per New York State mandate, school districts in New York State began testing of employees for the COVID virus on a weekly basis. Now, an employee could choose to opt out of that testing by proving and providing documentation that they have been fully vaccinated, which a vast majority of individuals in our district chose to do. And the remaining people engage in testing each Monday in our district. And instead of trying to handle that internally, we and many other school districts in Chautauqua County, I believe there's only one district that is choosing to handle it internally, entered into an agreement to have an organization come in and provide this testing for us. So they have a nurse come in each day, they've provided all the materials, there is no cost to the district, but technically we do need an agreement, and this is the same agreement that every other school in Chautauqua County is participating in as well. So a little bit unique in this arrangement is new, but this is the same contract that other districts are using as well. And And this has gone well. This happens each Monday in the morning here at the main campus and then over at Wheelock in the afternoon. It's gone very, very well, and we've been able to meet the requirement through this process.
Dr. Ziliak, is there about the number of tests every week? Does it stay pretty stable? What?
Yeah, we're right in the 40 neighborhood, give or take, and people who miss testing can get tested elsewhere throughout the week as long as they submit those results to us.
Any other questions? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Next, we have a motion to approve the physical therapy contract between Children's Education Service and Fredonia Central School District for an 8-week period. Can I have a motion to bring that to the floor, please? Ms. Golo, and a second. Ms. Powell-Fortner. Okay. If we could get some kind of an explanation on this, Mr. Ziliak.
Yep, this is directly related to an absence that we will have in staffing over an 8-week period beginning on December 1. And this contract is specific to that need and allows us to be able to continue to provide these services for students whose educational plan indicates that that is necessary during this absence. So it's really just kind of filling the gap in the meantime and allows our students to continue to receive the services that they need.
Any questions on that? Okay. And how familiar is Children's Ed Service with Fredonia and what our needs are?
Yeah, so as you know, each student involved in these services has an individual education plan, and people involved in this field would be familiar and comfortable reviewing those documents and then providing the services are required. So there is also a chance to interact between our staff and the people that will be coming on board to make sure that they're on the same page and there's no questions or anything that's unclear. And we should be good to go. In the world of PT, most of these services are fairly standard and probably something that most are very familiar with.
Okay. Any other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Next, we have the approval of the Audit Committee meeting minutes from November 16th. Can I have a motion to bring that to the floor, please? Ms. Golo, and a second.
Second.
Mr. Marshall. Any questions on that?
I just wanted to ask, and I don't know who the question goes to, but with the findings, when it says it was repeated, and so we had the same thing last year, is that we're still working on those? Is it normal to have a couple things still in motion? Is it because of COVID?
Well, it's actually a little bit of everything.
The computer.
You're going to have some that are repeats simply because of the nature of the boilerplate language in the audit. A good example of that would be in the single audit, which is in the back section. There's reference to the auditors helping us prepare journal entries or how they specify that. That's part of the requirement of the single audit that they review the journal entries with. So that'll be a repeat.
Okay.
Another one was the computer controls.
Right.
We made some adjustments when we brought Kim on board, and now we have to make one more round of adjustments for that. So some are that way. Some, like the extra classroom group, is just a constant battle to try to get those records in the order that they have to be in. So it's a little bit of everything.
Okay. Thank you.
And we did discuss at the Audit Committee the fact that when we have these fundraisers, there needs to be someone held responsible for the correct accounting and the correct sales tax reporting. think we've got to get wording on some of that so that we do not get into a pickle on that.
Yep.
So,
All right, thank you.
any other questions? It's a good question. Thank you, Ms. Gall. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Thank you. So next we have the approval of appointment of Ariel Prowse to a 6.5-hour, 10-month-a-year position as teacher aide. Can I have a motion to bring that to the floor, please?
So moved.
Ms. Hahn, and a second. Ms. Gall. Any questions on that? And my copy does not have an end date, and that was
Yeah, the new copy does. So
through what was that? Just for my
that
copy?
would be through November 15th, 2022.
Thank you. Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Next, we have the approval of the appointment of Kim Vincent to a full-time, 8-hour-per-day, 12-month-a-year position. Can I have a motion to bring that to the floor, please?
So moved.
Ms. Fortna, and a second. Mr. Johnston. Any questions on that? If I could, I have been corrected, you know, as I forgot the reason here, but if we could just go over this, because this is really a very short appointment, and I didn't want anybody to get the wrong idea, so if we could just kind of go over that, please.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. Ms. Slagle, you can fill in since you are our unofficial liaison to civil service. So this entire time Kim has been employed, she's been provisional. And the reason for that is that there was not a test in her title given up until recently. So she's been provisional for well over a year at this point. So she recently took this test and scored well in what they call a reachable range on the test, which means that she would then become a probationary employee from a provisional to probationary. And we have some leeway here depending on the length of time she was provisional and perhaps also around job performance and whatnot, to have that probationary period be anywhere from 8 weeks until 52 weeks. Since Kim was provisional for an extended period of time, we are considering, and I hate to use this, but kind of time served in the position, along with the fact that she's done a nice job for us here in the district and continues to do a nice job. So we were looking to offer the minimum probationary period, which would be 8 weeks since she's been in the position for an extended period of time. Ms. Slagle, anything I missed?
I think you should be the new liaison.
Oh, let's not get carried away. Part of that was reading from your summary.
You didn't have to tell them that.
Well, you know, it's about transparency, right?
So part of this is, through that explanation, we're going to be seeing this again in January, just so everyone realizes, to take her from a probationary for consideration to permanent. Okay. So don't be surprised when you see this again, is what I'm saying, okay? Any other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Wonderful. John, you got help in your office for another 8 weeks. Okay, which takes us to our superintendent's report.
So thanks, Ms. Slagle, for having that up. Now, you might recall last week we had some technical difficulties. Our board meeting was not able to be recorded, so I am going to repeat some of this information because there was some questions that came in afterwards. So I just wanted to have this out there for people to refer to and know that this was covered as part of our meeting last week and again this week as well. So again, always looking to just come back to our mission, vision, core beliefs and make sure that's a constant part of our conversation. And when we think about our mission, we've really been focused internally this idea of becoming our greatest selves. And we're seeing that play out across the district every day, both inside our classrooms and beyond. When we talk about vision, we've spent a lot of time in the district talking about paving innovative pathways that are dynamic and global and really result in positive educational experiences for our students. So that's what we aspire to be. That's the direction we're moving in on as a district at this time. And also really thinking about these core beliefs that drive our behavior and our decision making. And absolutely over the last several weeks, being student focused has been a constant theme, the idea of respect and honoring and treating everyone fairly. We've also focused on our communication and being consistent and timely with positive intent, and also have talked a lot about this idea of excellence, working hard, setting high standards, and taking pride in our efforts. So please know that those are all concepts that are driving our district forward, and we are constantly revisiting throughout our work together. I want to come back to this idea of the wall of honor. As many of you know, this was put in place through a guiding document in late 2019, and this honor is designed for those employees who have left an indelible impression on our district. It differs from the FCSD Alumni Hall of Fame, whose honorees are restricted to alumni. There are several criteria that are put in place, 6 exactly, for the committee that will be coming together soon to take into consideration of who might be worthy of joining the Wall of Honor this year. Our committee is comprised of 2 Board of Education members. That will be Mr. Marshall, thank you, and Mr. Aldridge. We appreciate your participation. Also 2 administrative volunteers. Thank you to Mrs. Piper and also Mr. Lauer, who will be participating in that along with myself. And we will be reviewing nominations and selecting a person to be honored. I would hope that we would have our first meeting early in the new year and move forward. The committee, in accordance with the guiding document, may select 1 person a year. Anyone not selected this year would remain active for the 5 years following. And we are looking to move forward with this process. And we hoped to select a person in early spring. And hopefully, with everything being available, with whatever the status of COVID might be at the time, having a ceremony and a celebration of that person's accomplishments. So please know this is in play currently, and we're moving forward, and we look forward to getting back to celebrating some of the good work across the district from the past and recognizing those people who contributed.
Dr. Zilios?
Yep.
Sorry, just one comment on it. We're very lucky to have this Wall of Honor, and it's quite a distinguished honor. And I guess I just want to, we may select 1 person. It is not required, or we could have years where there isn't someone selected. So I think just to manage expectations, right? We may not have applications. The committee may not feel that the applications meet that. But we do have a lot of people that have made great contributions, so we look forward to the application.
Yeah, that's correct. And if I misspoke,
no, you didn't. But I just
may
wanted
select.
To.
No, that's a fair clarification. I appreciate that.
And can I just ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Are the committee that's convening early in the new year, are they reviewing applications that have already been received as of today? Or is
Yeah.
that an ongoing process of receiving applications?
The guiding document doesn't offer a whole lot of specificity here, so I would think it is possible that we could receive another nomination in between now and then. But right now, we do have a couple applicants in the queue, so to speak. Like I said, I don't think there'd be anything preventing someone else from being nominated at this time.
Thanks.
So. Anything else? Again, I know there's a lot going on every given school year, and as we begin to kind of process what we thought this school year might look like over the summer, in some ways, we've found ourselves more involved in the pandemic and managing some of the Cobit pieces than we originally thought we would. But I just want to review very quickly that there are so many great things happening across the district, and these are just a few examples from recent, and I'm not going to go into any explanation in case any of our principals is going to touch on these tonight. But from the Model UN to our middle school musical, which was fantastic this past weekend, a variety of Students of the Month being recognized at different levels, our Veterans Day Parade, our fall sports seasons, probably highlighted by our football and girls soccer, and also two of our swimmers, Tori and Elizabeth, having great seasons. We're doing elementary principal pals this year. That is a nice recognition for students. We have a polar plunge coming up for a unified fundraiser. Girls on the Run, our French students celebrated National French Week a couple weeks ago. We had one of our board members recognized recently for her good work in her field. So, nicely done. Winter sports is up and running over the last week, and we seem to be off to a good start. And we're looking forward to see our students in action there. We had another edition of Spectator out. The students do a great job. We had a Pops concert a few weeks ago. We also had NHS induction, and they also had an event where they went out and did their fall sweep in the community and helped clean up. Students have been engaged in college visits. We had some artwork recognized recently. Our Feed Fredonia program, we did a trunk or treat through our music department. Orchestra at an ice cream social event. This past weekend, PTO did a turkey trot, which was a new event and nicely done. Gratitude Week happened across the district here this past week. Our middle school has been implementing a mystery hillbilly email chain each day, just as a way to build a little morale and have some fun and get to know people a little bit better. And we also are going to have a variety of concerts after the break. So please know there's a lot of fantastic things happening across the district. We thank everybody across the board who's involved in this wide variety of events. We appreciate all the hard work and dedication on behalf of the students and adults, and are very pleased to be able to present information like this at our board meetings. Also wanted to touch base a little bit. As you know, vaccines are now available for aged 5 through 11 students. We are making people aware, although these are from the past here, of clinics that are available, and those interested can certainly take advantage of that, and we're doing our best to share that information and make people aware of opportunities.
Dr. Ziliak?
Yep.
Sorry, question. With the boosters becoming available,
Yep.
will there be any change in testing requirements, booster, no booster? Do we anticipate anything coming with that?
Yep, it's been referred to recently that both Chautauqua County and Erie County are reviewing this information and considering what that might mean, but there has not been any official change or shift based on a booster shot at this point. The guidance still continues to refer to either fully vaccinated or unvaccinated individuals, and the booster shot is not a factor in that at this time.
Okay, thank you.
We administered a survey to our students a couple of weeks ago known as the Panorama Survey. It's something we have done in the past. And I just wanted to touch on a few of the reasons for that. Really, we're trying to gather information directly from our students that provides insights about our school and our district. The data gained can identify trends over time, general areas of strength and weakness for our district, and potential gaps in learning or information. This is really about giving students a voice in what is happening around them and allowing us to tap into those perceptions. And the results will inform us of potential adjustments we might want to make to our current processes, or initiate further discussion to better understand an idea or an issue that may be embedded within the survey. Feedback from our students is incredibly important to us and causes us to reflect on a variety of topics. Please know that this survey came from really a positive intention on behalf of our administrative team with the hopes of improving our school and the student experience. There are a few different categories associated with the questions on the survey. The categories include current classes, feelings about being at school, feelings about school, and how you are learning now. One of the things that was lost in the shuffle this year was our communication up front about this survey, which has happened in the past, but did not happen this year, and we apologize that. Next year we will correct that and reestablish more communication up front to explain the purpose of the survey and also make parents aware that it is happening in the time frame in which that will take place. Anyone can feel free to contact me directly if they have any questions or concerns. And we just now have the results, and we will be beginning as an administrative team to process this information, think about what this means to us as a particular school or district, and then how we could best move forward with this information. And we will be coming back to the board with some of those results that we feel are relevant, and that we'll dig into a little bit more, so more information to follow there. Any questions about the survey? Wanted to talk a little bit about our ongoing COVID protocols, and as you might be aware, the last couple weeks within Fredonia schools, certainly the virus has ramped up in our district and also has caused a number of quarantines. Please know that we continue to prioritize in-person learning, which was really what we talked about at the beginning of this school year as we began to process our reopening plan. We continue to use PPE, masks, distancing, sanitizing, staff testing, and contact tracing to minimize the potential spread of the virus. We continue to work closely with the Chautauqua County Department of Health and follow their guidance. We continue to communicate cases to our community as soon as we possibly can. We absolutely understand there is a degree of frustration and sometimes disappointment when a student or adult needs to be quarantined. But please know that our nurses are following the guidance that has been established by Chautauqua County, and they are really just the messengers in this process. We are doing the best to make reasonable and thoughtful decisions within the guidance that has been provided for us. We continue to err on the side of caution as we process positive cases and close contacts, therefore sometimes resulting in quarantines. Please contact me or our building principals if you have any questions or concerns. And please know, in general, we are doing the best we possibly can to manage all aspects of the pandemic and the COVID cases that we find attached to our district. And we are just trying our best to make the most of it, stay positive, and continue in-person learning for our district. Any questions about any of that? Last thing, and again, this was from last week as well, As you know, there's an American Rescue Plan which contains fundings for school districts to react and provide additional services related to the pandemic. We have submitted an application to the state for this funding. We have now received some feedback, which we hadn't at the time of the last meeting. There are some additional questions and a little bit more specific information the state is looking for. This seems to be on par with the feedback other districts are receiving as well, so this isn't unusual. So our application has been unsubmitted, and we are now in the process of supplying that information. We will resubmit and hopefully gain approval in the near future. There are a few positions, some of which we've already started to talk about, that we are considering as attached to this funding. One is the ENL, or bilingual coordinator, which we've talked about. Also a school counselor or social worker in the lower grades, potentially a technology teacher, and also a school nurse that would focus primarily on COVID-19 and everything that's involved in managing those issues as a coordinator. There are also a number of other items that we have placed in this application. Please remember that that came from surveys that we sent out to our community for feedback about ways that we could maximize the use of this money. We also gathered feedback from our faculty and staff, as well as our admin team. And here are a few of the things that are at this point been identified within this application. Summer programming, including transportation, cleaning supplies, disinfectants, plastic face shields, masks, plastic desktop providers, COVID-19 testing supplies as potentially needed, an assessment of our ventilation and air quality, improvements potentially to our filters and our univents, live streaming equipment, the Edgenuity learning platform that we've been using over the last 2 years, particularly at the secondary level. Also the iReady learning platform, which has really taken off across the district to really identify strengths and weaknesses in students and how we can best fill those gaps in learning. Professional development for cleaning, safety, and student support. ENL teaching support through Erie 2 BOCES. Resources for alignment of curriculum across the district. Additional hours for support staff, custodians, and cleaners. Additional teacher aides. New teacher professional development. Change management system, strategic planning process, and also resources to improve literacy and reading comprehension. A couple final ones here, best practices and learning deficit assessments, enrichment support designed specifically for high school students, especially as they gear up towards graduation to ensure that they have the correct number of credits to successfully graduate from high school. Professional development around mental health, wellness, bullying, growth mindset, racial harmony, inclusion, equity, and diversity. And also some funding for conversion of a few storage spaces into instructional spaces. So those are the things that have been tagged at this point. And again, our application is in process, and we are working to fine-tune and tweak some of the language within those applications to better meet what the state is looking for. Lastly, we hope that all of our families and faculty and staff have a fantastic Thanksgiving. I am approaching a year in the district. I am certainly thankful to be here in Fredonia as our superintendent, and I just want to say thank you to everybody across the district, especially for this school year, for all that's been done to make it work. It's been positive, collaborative, and really a team effort, and we absolutely appreciate everything everyone has done, and that includes our admin team who's here tonight, as well as our Board of Education. So, thank you much, and if there aren't any other questions, that is the superintendent's report for tonight. No other questions? Thank you. Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Zilliard.
So we have reserved time to hear from the public again on any comments. Is there anyone who would like to address the board? Okay. So the next regular Board of Education meeting will be December 14th. That's 3 weeks from tonight. 3 weeks? 3 weeks. At 6 o'clock, and I believe that is right here, isn't it? Right here, okay, in the library. I also wanted to share with the board, we discussed at we have an agenda meeting on Friday prior to every board meeting where we go over the proposed agenda. One of the things we talked about was at those meetings, in attendance is Mr. Ziliak, Ms. Slagle, Mr. Hawk is Vice President, and myself. And we were talking about the possibility of rotating a third member of the board into that. And my thought here is Mr. Hawk and I are exposed to a lot of discussion, a lot of further explanation on a lot of items that are within the agenda. And I just wanted to make that available on a rotating basis if anyone is interested. If you would like to contact me, and then I don't want the same person every agenda meeting, and I understand that some people, their schedules won't work out real well. But if anyone is interested, I didn't want this, I wanted to make this available. I didn't want it to be exclusively with Mr. Hawk and myself. But also, I think we have to look at some kind of a management succession here, so to say, so that people are familiar with what's going on with the agenda and with this, you know, again, there's a lot of discussion that goes on in those. So I would just like to invite one of the other members. So talk to me afterwards, and we'll rotate if that's your interest. The third thing on my list, I guess this is a special week, being Thanksgiving, and I sometimes get off the road into a ditch, and I get kind of frustrated with some of the things I personally have to deal with. But this week kind of brings me back out of the ditch, and I start thinking about all the things that are going well. And I would just like to say I'm very thankful for this school district. And I think that we've got students who are doing some exceptional things. And it's not just exceptional things, it's exceptional things for where they are. And they're exceeding within their realm. And that's great. They don't have to be the fastest, they don't have to be the smartest, but they're improving every day, and that's great. We've got the one slide of all the positive things that are going on in this district, and I'm so thankful for that. I'm thankful for all the volunteers, and I think of Mr. Johnson volunteering with the football team, and all of us are volunteers too, but there's so many volunteers within this district, and I'm thankful that they take an interest in our students and helping them to be better at what they're doing. And sometimes it's that mentorship that really helps those. I know I'm going to miss somebody here, but we've got teachers' aides, we've got people who are helping provide lunches to our students and hand those out. We've got groundskeepers, we've got custodial help, we've got the coaches, teachers, administration, secretaries, I knew I was going to miss somebody, and I lump certain people into certain positions, but thank you, Mr. Zliaks. Yes, secretaries. We heard a discussion earlier this evening about the school's finances, and I'm thankful that this district is in a very good place with our finances. We have a very strong reserve. I think that our finances are being overseen very well. Thank you, Mr. Forbes. Thank you, Mr. Zoliaks, for that. And those are the things that I'm thankful, but I'm also thankful for the other 6 members of this board. I'm thankful that you're all independent thinkers. We don't all think alike. We do disagree, but on our way out to the parking lot, we're best friends. And I appreciate the respect that we show for each other. And I'm very thankful for the 6 of you. So, with that, I guess we're going around the table, but we're doing this, kind of in the same style we have. Mr. Hawk, any comments?
Say congratulations to the middle school for the show. I didn't get a chance to see it because of some obligations they had, so my granddaughter went. She just came home and was just a flurry. You had to see this, you had to see that, this happened. So it was really something, and I know it takes a lot from everybody in the community, along with the people that are, from the school system, putting that all together, so nice job.
Yeah, great. Ms. Fortman.
Nothing to add. I think, Brian, you covered it.
Sorry, I threw a wide net.
No, it's great. I am also very grateful this week for everything positive that we have going on. So, thank you.
Ms. Gullo.
You did a fine job covering that all the points. You really did. I thought the same thing, looking up at all the activities that have occurred this year. So thank you to everyone, and pass along to everybody that makes that happen, because it's great to be here. So happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yeah. Mr. Johnston.
You covered it all, but I did run into a couple of the lunch staff on the weekend up here, and one's a retired teacher, a former co-worker of mine, colleague of mine, and she's now on the lunch staff, and like bus drivers, there's a shortage of lunch staff, and I was thinking, after talking to her, I thought, if I didn't have this gig, I'd be coming up and helping, because you get to see the kids,
Yes.
get a little pocket change. I think it'd be a great gig for retired teachers or retired people in general, and we really need some more people. So it was nice to talk to them. They're doing a great job. I'd like to give a shout out to them.
Yeah. Thank you. Mr. Marshall.
Again, you covered pretty much everything, but a shout out to the bus drivers.
Yes.
I know they're going through a lot of crazy stuff, and they have a lot of expectations on them, and they probably field a lot of angry parents from time to time, but
I did miss them, and they bring our students to school every day safely. Thank you for helping me with that. Ms. Hahn.
Well, I am very thankful for everyone here, and for you, Brian, for your leadership. And I did go to the middle school play, and it blew me away. I was kind of expecting the excellent acting and music because of the tradition of Fredonia, but what I wasn't really expecting till I got there was the scenery, the sets, and the costumes. And it was just a world-class production. So congrats to everyone on that, and happy Thanksgiving.
Yes. Great. I'm gonna skip here, but Mr. Paskey, the high school.
I'm thankful to Dr. Zoliaks and Mr. Aldrich for covering most of everything that I need to say. So I just wanted to embellish a little bit on the swimming results. Elizabeth Bucci-Schaefer, she ended up finishing 11th in the state for diving, which I think is outstanding. Tori Spack, she broke her own school record in the 100 breaststroke, and she moved, last year she was 24th in the state, this year she moved up to 13th in the state. So I just wanted to say congratulations to both of them. And then lastly, a gentleman stopped into our office about a week and a half ago with a plaque. This gentleman graduated from Fredonia in 1955, and he had some money left in their class account, and they brought in a plaque with all of the class of 1955 names on them, and asked if we could hang that up somewhere in our school, so we're working on getting a place for that. So I thought that was pretty neat. Just kind of out of the blue, this gentleman showed up and had some great stories. Mr. Forbes and I walked around the building with him, showed him some of the new things in our school, and it was just a nice thing to do, so it was cool. So thank you all for what you do, very appreciative.
Yeah.
A lot of gratitude for the effort and just, I guess, the heart that you guys all put into our school, so thank you.
Ms. Troutman.
You can't say enough about the musical. If you went to it, it was absolutely amazing. But I'm thankful for all the people who are behind the scenes. Because, you know, you have the people on stage, but there's kids, you know, behind the stage and working that, and a ton of adults and high school kids who do the makeup and work on, you know, scenery. That was awesome, and so it's a lot of people, and so we're very thankful for all of them. And it was amazing. It really was amazing. If you go to it, and I think it's hard for you to realize that they're middle school kids, because they just do such an amazing job. So great job to them. Just one other thing that I just want to bring up, we're bringing back the Hillbilly Hot Wire. It's our school newspaper. We didn't have it last year. We lost our advisor, but Sarah Korzaneski has agreed to take it on. And so we're really excited to see what the kids can do with that. So the kids are starting to go out and do their interviewing and start their writing. So that'll be coming soon.
Great.
And thank you all. It takes a team to do what we do. And so I appreciate that we all work together towards our goals.
Thank you, Ms. Troutman. And Mr. Drollinger.
Yep, at the elementary school, we continue with the theme of gratitude this week. The kids created about 600 gratitude notes. These are handwritten notes from students to adults. We wanted to make sure that every adult that works in our building received a personal note of thanks today. So today was the day when we delivered them either by hand or through mailboxes. So it was really nice for the kids to thank the adults that are special in their lives. So we did that this week, so that was kind of cool. And we had a lot of like thematic units this week leading up to Thanksgiving. So we had the 4th grade, they turned the hallway into Broadway Avenue, and they like recreated the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. So there were a bunch of balloons and floats, and they read the book Balloons Over Broadway, and they made text-to-self connections. The kids were super excited about that. They had little street signs and things like that, so it was pretty exciting. Then we continued to our deep dive into mathematics this year. We were very fortunate to receive logins to this program called First in Math. New York State Ed bought into this program for the next couple of years. It's an online program that's designed to address some of the gaps that we're seeing this year in mathematics. So our teachers were looking for some support in that area, and they went to our local BOCES forum, and they heard about this program. We were able to work with Doug Prince, our awesome technology director. He got us this program within a week. So we'll roll that out after Thanksgiving. So other than that, thanks a lot for all your support, and happy holidays.
Great, thank you. Ms. Farrow.
Hi, I mentioned at the last meeting, and I think it was touched on in the superintendent's report, our Unified Sports Program is participating in the New York Polar Plunge to raise funds for unified athletics across New York State, and the funds will directly benefit our own schools participants. So we're involved in some friendly rivalry with local districts to be a top fundraiser overall, and we're pretty close, so keep the donations coming in. And thanks to everyone who has already donated, to the students who are involved, and we're working through some transportation issues to get the kids there, but we anticipate a large turnout for the event, which is on Saturday, December 3rd. And overall, I just wanted to say thanks to everyone who took the time in this short school week to embrace the spirit of Thanksgiving, to engage our students in fun and meaningful learning running activities, and related to the holiday, and thanks to everyone for everything. That's it.
Now, is December 3rd a
It's a
Saturday?
Saturday. Oh, I'm sorry, I think it's December 4th. I'm pretty sure it's on a Saturday. I gave you
Okay.
the wrong date, I'm sorry.
Well, my anniversary's on the 5th, and I was thinking it was Sunday, so, you know, I was really worried there for a minute.
I might have screwed up the date, but I'm pretty sure it's on a Saturday.
All right. Ms. Piper?
I would like to just put a shout out to Lisa Helwig, our school nurse. You owe her a lot of gratitude and thanks because of all she's done to get us through the last couple of years. So we had a Love for Lisa campaign. And we've shown a lot of gratitude to Lisa and a lot of gifts and cards and whatnot because she really is holding us all together. So the Love for Lisa campaign I think will continue. And I want to put a shout out to our PTA. They've sponsored a Thanksgiving feast for our kindergarten and pre-K students today. They provided pizza from Mary's Deli, who gave us a very discounted price, so thank you to Mary's Deli. Cafeteria had apples and carrot sticks, but all of the students were able to break bread per se with their friends today and have a Thanksgiving feast. So thanks to our awesome PTA for sponsoring that.
Now, did they wear feathers and pilgrim hats?
Oh, they had every adornment you could think of.
All right.
Pilgrim hats and turkey hats and
Oh,
gobblers,
okay.
and we were doing the turkey hokey pokey.
Yeah.
So,
Great.
yeah.
Lots of fun. Yeah, great. Ms. Wright, we're coming back to you.
All right. Well, it's been a week really full of not very exciting stuff in my office. It's grants and boring things and tech PD plans and, trainings on different softwares and this, that, the other. So it's none of the exciting stuff. It's all that behind the scenes stuff that, we do in our office. And I have to give a huge shout out to Laura Lazarczyk because, without her, I know that there's no way that these things with the, if you could see the amount of data and beds codes and things that come back and the littlest, teeniest, tiniest things that have to be adjusted. And, oftentimes when things come back, it just says error. Doesn't say what error or where the error is. And we're talking pages and pages to go through to find that one little red spot, that asterisk that, might have it where a student transferred from another district that didn't have an address was spelled wrong from one year to another. So, it's just such very specific. You really have to be, that fine-tuned and an eye for it. And so I just, she's just the best. So I just want to make sure that I express the gratitude, not just for being in the Fredonia district and being part of this amazing admin team and such a supportive board and community. Like I said from day one, everybody has been so warm and welcoming, no matter where I go. But, our DO team and certainly Laura keeping the half the time she's like, can you look at this? And I'm like, what am I looking at? And she goes through and explains all the different screens and whatnot. And we sit through a lot of WebEx trainings together. And she's very dutiful and listening and this and that. And I get about half an hour in and I'm like, I can't do this. And I'm up and I'm pacing because I can't sit still long enough. So she's just wonderful. And then Theresa Sanders, our new elementary nurse. We've had a lot of different absences where at times, she might be the only person on this main campus. And she just does it with grace, and she does it to make sure every single child gets their, their medicine and their contacts and things like that. So I just really wanted to give a shout out to her too. And wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Great, thank you. Mr. Forbes?
I don't have anything, so I just hope everybody has a good Thanksgiving.
Okay, and we'll get some audit committee dates set for reviewing reserves. Great. Ms. Slagle?
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Well, that was short and quick. Great, thank you. Okay, so we anticipate the need to enter into executive session to discuss matters pertaining to particular personnel. After we come out of executive session, we will immediately adjourn, so there won't be any need to stick around for that. So if I could get a motion to enter into executive session. Ms. Gullo, and a second. Second. Mr. Marshall. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We are now in executive session at 7:10. Thank you, everyone.
Any government student can have any adult